Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Wednesday, 5 November 2025. I am Lengton Mwanaka, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Madzibaba Veshanduko back in court. President Chamisa, a statesman in the making, says opposition official. The 2030 agenda will be stopped by the masses if other remedies fail, says Chuma. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. Activist Godfrey Karembera, popularly known as Madzibaba Veshanduko, was back in court today for bail hearing. Madzibaba Veshanduko was briefly hospitalized yesterday after falling ill in prison.
The visibly ill Madzibaba Veshanduko was forced to attend court again today for bail request. As if to cause more pain, his hearing was stood down twice from 8:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. and eventually at 2:15 p.m. he was told he would be further remanded in custody until the 19th of November, since the state was still putting its paperwork in order. Reporting for Citizens Movement Radio, my name is Bernard Chele.
An opposition official from Mashonaland Central Province, Sam Gondongwe, has described the advocate Nelson Chamisa as a statesman in the making who will drive Zimbabwe to great heights if elected into power. Gondongwe applauded advocate Nelson Chamisa for always preaching unity amongst citizens, contrary to Emerson Mnangagwa, who used violence against dissent. Let's hear Gondongwe speaking.
Yeah. Everywhere. If you look at the Mozambique election, if you look at the Malawi election, if you look at the Tanzanian election, even Mnangagwa has never condemned the violence and the killing of innocent people. Yet Advocate Nelson Chamisa is always on the side of the masses, advocating for peace amongst the people, advocating for democratic means of taking power. So we really applaud Advocate Nelson Chamisa because if elected into power, then there will be serenity in Zimbabwe, there will be peace, and there will be progress and development, and the fear in the people will disappear, overtaken by happiness and joy, because where a leader who fears God is in power, the people rejoice, and when there is a tyranny at the helm of power, then the people will always suffer and groan in silence. So we really applaud President Nelson Chamisa to keep on the side of the masses and to keep on preaching peace and waiting upon the time of God and mapping the way forward for this nation. We really need him to come and make sure that all Zimbabweans are peace-loving people, and the law takes its course on everyone who breaks the law. This is Advocate Nelson Chamisa, who we are singing about, who we are talking about, to say when he comes, I think Zimbabwe will be a better place to live. Thank you.
One of the officials from the opposition, Stephen Sakosi Chuma, has said the unpopular ZANU-PF plot to extend Emerson Mnangagwa's term of office by amending the constitution will be fought in the streets by the masses if other remedies fail. Chuma said if legal means fail, people's power remains the ultimate solution to stop the so-called 2030 agenda. Let's hear him speaking.
Yes, we want to make it clear that any attempts to amend the constitution will be resisted by the people of Zimbabwe. Yes, ZANU-PF can try to use legal means. They might try to use their stolen majority in parliament, which came via but the 2030 agenda will ultimately be rejected by the people of Zimbabwe, because it is the people of Zimbabwe who voted in the 2013 referendum in support of the two-term limit, which is in the current constitution. So what is clear is that the masses of Zimbabwe, the people of Zimbabwe, across the political divide, are going to unite and resist the so-called 2030 agenda. If all other remedies fail to prevent the amendment of the constitution by ZANU-PF, then obviously the streets will be waiting, the people will be waiting to stop Emmerson Mnangagwa and his looting cabal from amending the constitution, because there's nothing significant about it. So clearly the people of Zimbabwe have a duty to resist any amendment of the constitution to allow for Emmerson Mnangagwa to stay in power beyond 2028.
Award-winning investigative journalist Wopero Chingono has revealed a ZANU-PF plot to use Bulawayo activist Mbutso Fuzwayo and his Ibechuli Kazuru pressure group to make a weak court application against the 2030 agenda. According to Chingono, the Fuzwayo application will be dismissed as a way of setting precedents of future court challenges against the 2030 agenda. He said this will give purveyors of 2030 agenda to pursue extension of Emmerson Mnangagwa's term of office without legal hindrances. The Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, ATUZ, has revealed that at least 90% of people in Mberengwa at Sandawana Primary School and surrounding areas have tested positive for silicosis due to effects of mining activities of Kuvimba Lithium Company. ATU's Deputy Secretary General Munyaradzi Masiwa said learners at Sandawana Primary School are part of the 90% affected by silicosis. He called for action by responsible authorities to prohibit mining near schools and residential areas. Let's hear Masiwa speaking.
Yeah, it's very true. Developments at Sandawana Primary School are so disturbing. Sandawana Primary School is located just 400 meters from a lithium mining company which is called Kuvimba. So the developments are that there is a lot of dust that is being emitted from the activities of the mine. So it happens that there were tests that were conducted, and 90% of people who were tested within the school premises and in the surrounding areas tested positive to silicosis, which is a condition that is so fatal. So you realize that from 2019, when the Kuvimba lithium mining company established itself there, the head of energy cluster, Trevor Bernard, promised to do dust suppression and dust emission capturing to avoid creation of any amount of dust in the environment around the community. But this is not happening, and we have reached to this level where our communities are in danger and the government is not doing anything. We continue to urge the government that our schools must be safe, our learners must be safe also, and to make matters worse, test could not be conducted on this minor because they required consent from parents. So you can just imagine the damage, the magnitude of the damage that has already happened to the minor, and nothing is being done. This is worrisome. We need to make sure that our school environments are safe for learning. We continue to advocate for safe schools in Zimbabwe, and we continue to advise the government that they need to be considerate when establishing such mining companies close to schools. It is good maybe to build the schools away from these mining companies, or to consider life of individuals instead of just considering the economic advantage which is associated with these mining activities. And on top of that, we also have information that there are Chinese minors there who are exploiting our sisters, who are taking our sisters for sexual exploitation, and in doing that, they are spreading STIs, which are difficult to mitigate or to deal with. So our sisters are in danger because of poverty. They work for these Chinese guys and they are not getting paid. And on top of that, they get sexually exploited. This is just a story which is so disturbing.
Activist Wellington Masiwa, popularly known as Nyoka Yemabono, was back in court in South Africa yesterday, where his case was further postponed to the 1st of December 2025. The court cited that it requires more time to establish and work on more details on the matter. Let's hear activist General Sitole explaining what transpired at the court.
Comrade Nyoka Yemabono vange vachipinda mukoti kuRandburg Magistrates Court nekesi ye-extradition. Right, I think ndambonyora pamusoro apo kuti vanhu muzive. Kesi haina kutora chero 5 minutes. Kesi yangopinda less than 5 minutes yange yapera. Sekuziva kwatinoita kuti tadzoka katachinja takutamba magames muSouth African courts iri nhau yekuita politics. Vamwe votaura kuti aiwa hadzisiri politics. Iyi ndiyo nhau yepolitics iri kutambwa in the foreign lands court. Tese tinofanirwa kuzvigamuchira ichokwadi ichocho. Comrade Nyoka Yemabono vange vari mukoti musi wa29 October nekesi yefraud. Kesi iyoyo yakanzi ngaiende musi wa17 November. Vopinda musi wa4 vachifanirwa kunzi vanzwikwe nyaya yavo ye-extradition. Yakunzi yakuenda musi wa1 December. Muchanyatsoona kuti zviri kuitwa nesystem apa kutenga nguva nekushungurudza Comrade Nyoka Yemabono uye nekuti vanyarare pane zvavari kuita. Ndo nyaya iripo. Saka sekuziva kwatinoita mhuri yeZimbabwe, we still have to support Comrade Nyoka Yemabono and making sure kuti vari kuchengeteka vari mujere kudaro. Hazvisi kutifadza, and personally we still think kuti justice will have to be served kuna Comrade Nyoka Yemabono, because he is a victim of politics. At the same time, vanhu vedu vakutoenda vachikanganwa kesi ya Comrade Nyoka Yemabono kuti iri kufamba sei. Tiri pahondo, my comrades. Please, tese, let us come together. Tiregedze kufunga kuti chinhu chino chatiri kuita idambe. Kesi ya Comrade Nyoka Yemabono ye-extradition zvinoshamisa kunzwa kuti the state is citing kuti ichiri kuda nguva yekuti imbotarisa nezvekesi nekuona muthis case. Zuro ndizuro we had the state ichiti docket riri kumaoko aminister. Zuro ndizuro radzoka kubva kuna minister pakudiwa nguva yekuti vamboonesana kuti is he extraditable. Hakuna kana chine musoro chiri kutaurwa kucourt. But what I want to say is that zvese izvi zvichapfuura, and Comrade Nyoka Yemabono will be amongst us again. Ndo mamiriro akaita zvinhu.
Zorani Mamdani, the son of renowned African scholar Mahmoud Mamdani is the new mayor of New York in USA. Mamdani becomes the first Muslim mayor of New York, and his victory is viewed as a victory against racism and anti-immigration policies being pushed by Donald Trump's government. Let's take a look at our sports news. FIFA has announced the appointment of Romanian coach Mario Marinica as the new Warriors coach. According to FIFA statement, Marinica is a holder of UEFA Pro license and has previously worked with big European teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Inter Milan, among others. In Africa, he previously coached Malawi and Liberia. Marinica will take charge of the Warriors in the upcoming two friendlies against Algeria and Qatar, and then the AFCON tournament next month. In the UEFA Champions League matches played last night, Arsenal thumped Sparta Prague 3-0, while Bayern Munich beat defending champions PSG 2-1 in their own backyard. Here are results of matches played last night. Liverpool 1, Real Madrid 0, Atletico Madrid 3, Union Saint-Gilloise 1, Juventus 1, Sporting CP 1, Bodo Glimt 0, Monaco 1, Olympiacos 1, PSV 1, Tottenham 4, Copenhagen 0. The UEFA Champions League continues tonight, and here are fixtures lined up for tonight. Manchester City vs Borussia Dortmund, Qarabağ FK vs Chelsea, Pavos vs Villarreal, Newcastle vs Athletic Club Bilbao, Ajax vs Galatasaray, Club Brugge vs Barcelona, Benfica vs Bayer Leverkusen, Inter Milan vs Kairati, and Marseille vs Atalanta. Cricketer Sin Williams has entered into drug rehabilitation after withdrawing from Zimbabwe's national cricket squad. Zimbabwe Cricket ZC said the 39-year-old made himself unavailable for selection for the T20I World Cup qualifiers and disclosed his drug addiction during an internal inquiry. ZC announced that Williams will no longer be considered for national selection and his contract will not be renewed after December 31, 2025. Despite this, the board acknowledged his two-decade contribution to Zimbabwean cricket and wished him well in his recovery. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once more. Madzibaba Veshanduko back in court. President Chamisa, a statesman in the making, says opposition official. The 2030 agenda will be stopped by the masses if other remedies fail, says Chuma. That's all for tonight's news bulletin. Thank you for listening to CMR. Join us tomorrow for more news and updates. Until then, good night and stay informed.